getting the secondary device and everything set up. I'm just about ready. Welcome, hope you guys are having a great night. Just working on getting stuff set up and figured, why not hang out and have some fun? Trying to find where something went that I got and don't know where I put it. And it matters because I need to use it tonight. Yeah, I thought I moved it, and I did. Where did it go is the question. Apparently I'm forgetting where I moved something. I'm sure no one's ever done that, right? I cannot believe I am forgetting this. I know I put it somewhere. I think I found it. Oh, yes. Okay. Alright, thanks for your patience here. I was trying to find one thing here. And I think I found it. Now I just need to make sure that it's in the right spot. And then we can get things underway. This goes to which folder is what I'm figuring out. Create directory. I don't need to create directory. I want to know where this directory is so I can put the file from the directory into the directory and move it to the other location so it's right where it needs to be. Instead of making things go to the other places and more things and more places, I don't need to have that. I need to have it all together so we can make it work together. You know what I mean? Let us stop this crazy beat of having things over here and over there and everywhere and just put it all in the same place so we can do the things. Can't we do that? Yes, we can. Alright, we found where it needs to go. Get the one vagina do I. put from there and put there. And of course, since it's on the same hard drive, it's just a matter of rehushing it. So it's quick and handy and done. But welcome everyone, hope you're all doing wonderful this evening. Oh, I did hit the button and it didn't take. Here we go. So yeah, I was moving the map folder of the things I have so that I can have it where it needs to be. Oh, and I think I forgot to do that. I need to check that again. But yes, we has maps. Lots and lots of maps. And so we want to test our maps and see what we can find. No, I didn't want to do that actually. I want to go back. I want to go here. I want to go up. There we go. Voice actor. Journal. Really? Eh? That's so funny. Right, and for kicks and giggles, let's do this. I have not looked at any of these yet, technically, so let's do this. Hey, there we go, now we can see. Woot woot, see the things. These are not alike, what's the difference? This is grid, this is not. Wizard has grid here we can have. So, Wizard does this one. Select a background, that's fine. You leave that for now. You may have to edit and change. You're changing the underlying dimensions of the scene. If you already flashed the objects in the scene as a background, it will shift position. I know. It's okay. We are just trying to get it to be in the place we need it to be. To do the things. You know what I mean? Interesting. This is not as good a resolution as a lot of their other maps. This is much less qualities than most of the maps they had. But if we zoom out all the way, we can see that the map takes up a good portion of the screen, but not the full thing. But it is good. And we can put on the test the character and see what we can do. We only have this one for now that is ready to go, so we will put her on there to see what she sees. Yeah. Big one. Technically I think the size is off, now that I'm looking at it. Yeah. It's way too big. Alright, let's eat it. See, and I'm just mainly fiddling with it, making sure we got everything set and working. Configuration. Jeez. I don't want initial position, I want the size of the grid. Zoom. Do I want to zoom change? Invalid initial view position. Is that because I had it selected? Do I? Nope. Invalid initial view position, something or rather. I got it. So that was a problem. Okay, yeah. So let's start here. And zoom of 2. Sure. Grid. That should be 10. Good. Dimensions, grid pixel. Must be greater than 50. Has to be 50? Well then I might have to change things. Guess that somewhat works. Let me see if I can get the... Ooh. Here we go. Alright, so that looks to be correct, that it is squared off there, but a lot of these locations aren't quite lined up. So like going to the door, you're not, and that's just the map. So there's no way around that, really. We're just gonna have to do it that way. Alright. Well, it is what it is, but it's good to learn that, for sure. For now, they're all just gonna be tests, because we need to verify things. We don't actually fully know what we are going to do as of yet. Yeah, I know. No, I want to... Oh, it's pulling that up. Does that do that when you do here? It does. I want to go there, thank you. Oh, there we go. A whole lot of things. Water was on the other side. I could use it more than being on this side. So it's basically mirrored. So I might need to cut this. Flip it a picture. Okay, well this one's not as much as I would have thought, but it's kind of expected. Apparently this map is being called Twat. And look, Twat scene. It was random keys that were pushed. Don't complain. No! I just punched keys. It's what it was called. I'm testing out the maps, looking at them in preparation. And decided I'd stream and hang out with people while doing so we can listen to music, hang out, and examine these. I'm thinking we won't use their city maps based on what I'm seeing. They're not bad, it's just not quite what we're doing. Teast. Okay, well fine, if you want me to hit an extra key. Whatever. East. Let's go to Teast. Going to Teast now. Welcome everyone to the city of Teast. Teast is located on two sides of a river. You know, they're not bad. They're just not what I want from my city ones. Delete. Okay. Mutatis. That's what I've been trying to call it, but apparently my fingers are wanting to betray me today. Yay. Finger betrayal. What is the difference between these? 30 dpi VTT, 72, 372, and A1 poster. Oh, that's if you want to do a poster printout. I think we want to go with 300 dpi because I do think that sounds a little better. Yes, we will go with that and see what we can do. Sevada, changes. Yes, I know, I don't care, just do it. Do as I say, and obey me. Woulda. See, now this is the kind of thing I was looking for. Look at how pretty it looks. It's a little inland, like cove, basically like there's boat access here. You come in, set up nice little place. And this is the kind of area where they're gonna be able to set up a what do you call it? Safe haven. That's not the term that they use, but this would be like what we'd use if they found a sanctuary. That's the term. If they found a sanctuary and open it, I would see this being like a possible option. Like you have river access here, and then you have the forest access here, and it's kind of, you know, hidden. Not very large entrance, you know. Maybe they even board off one entrance, so this is the only entrance because it's hidden even better. I could see that happening. See, I like it. This is the kind of quality of maps. Those city maps, not hitting it for me. Just not doing it. Just not hitting me when I'm just not doing what I want. Not doing what I need. But this one's doing it. Is off a little based on sitting in those, but it could just be the map as a whole. Is the map centered? And look at, yeah, it does put itself in the same there. So it could just be the map is that way. I don't know that is the thing that can happen. I do think it's a little, yeah, because it's a big barrel. They should be about the size of that barrel, and they're not. So we need to change the size of it a little. Configuration. It's 100 pixels. Let's say that it is 100. Let's say, can I measure? Am I allowed to measure? I can measure 1 square. Boop. You moved me. I need to go back to where I was. Where is my person? You took my person away. I need to see my person to know if it is the right scale. Oh, you move your way over there. There she goes. Move her over here. Oh, no, you got smaller. I needed you to get bigger, not smaller. Okay, so 1.5, we actually needed to go the other way to 0.5. It may be too big. Oh. Where did it go? Okay, now we're back. That was weird. So basically, she should be able to fit the whole thing. Needs to change size just a little bit. And it disappeared. Alright, so... Alt. That's about right. She at least looks a little better on that. Let's bump it just a little bit more. Make it, let's say, 120? Not exactly very centered there, but it is centered up here. So it's more that the map isn't really made to be exactly on position. It's a difficult thing. But if we go down here, do you look to be about the right size with the boat? That's the other thing to consider. Yes. Barely fit 2 people, which it should. Same here, barely fit 2 people, but it's the wrong direction to really fit everyone. Yeah. Alright. There's that. That's a huge barrel. I kind of almost think I need to do it more. That's about right. Set about 3 people. Yeah, that's about right. I know there's no walls or anything put in yet. That's because I hadn't done that. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work, that'll work. Did the bird hold? This is what? The poster? Yes, it is the poster. And what is this? It's a different poster. It is a different poster. So there's two maps. But it is lacking on me just a little bit. Ah, upper floor and lower floor. I'm not sure if this is how we're supposed to do it or not. Guess we'll find out. I may have just made a mistake. Is there a way to go to the lower level now? Why? Foreground layer. Background layer. Oh, that is how it works. Oh, I'm so happy. Look at that, look at that. So you have the bottom layer? Right? And if you go upstairs, you can go to the... And you can still see the bottom layer underneath. That is awesome. That is awesome. That is what I was hoping for. We go here and we go, it was coast, it was camps and hideouts, it was dreaded beers hold, yeah. And if we look at the 300 DPI one, that's what it looks like. But if we compare that with the other 300 one, we will see the comparison and the lookalikes. So these are meant to match up. This one just lays over top of this one. And so because they built it off of each other, it works fine. Or if it was transparent here, I believe it would be fine as well. Because you'd still be able to see this underneath. But the important thing is that actually doing that means we don't have to use dynamic lighting and shadow to get the shadows to cast down there. Picture already has it. Yes. Yes. That is what we need. Of course, that should be about 7-ish foot, maybe 10. Because I think that's supposed to be a bed. Could be wrong. I'm not sure exactly how that part works, but hey. This one goes up there. Does this go up? Is that what they're saying? It looks like this one would be going up. Oh, that one comes up over here. That one comes up here. That goes out. That one is a dead end. It comes up here, but then comes up here. Yeah, this way, this way, this one. See, that one goes up there. This one goes up here. This one goes up here. And then these two come up to this part that then goes up there. And then this one goes up over here, and that's it. So that's the only one we hadn't seen was this one here, because it was a little bit further out of screen focus. Cool. Now if we zoom in, do we see the grid overlay? Not really. Yeah, why not? We'll put the Esquire in. Where did the Esquire go? Where did the Esquire go? He should be on the map. I do not see him on the map. Oh, there he is. He was on the background layer? Apparently he's on the background layer, and I can't select him. What? Is that going to be a problem with the foreground and background? Okay, so if you're there and you go to the other one, you can't see it because it's technically not clear. Got it. And I can't select her because the foreground's in the way. Got it. That's not good. So that's a problem. I did something wrong. Must be I misunderstood how something works. I need to learn more about how this works then. 'Cause I'm missing something. Pal browser. Alright, well that informs me that I obviously don't understand fully how scenes work. It's not letting me click in this box. Yeah, I can't type in the box. Did I do something to disable that? Yeah, it's not letting me click on it. Is it because I had that still active? That's not good. No, did not mean to close that. But how are you all doing tonight? Hope you're having a grand old time. Hey, it's Amy. Oh. So we could make it... Okay. Okay, so 0 is not dark. 1 is full dark. Okay. Okay. Well, that'll work. Okay. A journal entry which provides notes about the scene. That is cool. Select playlist for sound. Cool. Alright. We're getting it. Like I said, I am totally new to all this. I am bumbling around like a total noob. But don't tell anyone. It's a secret. We can't let them know that. Yes, I'm kidding. Generic forest. Elven forest. Elven forest select. Please initiate Elven forest location. Oh look, the Elven forest has been located. Please enter the Elven forest and prepare for immediate destruction. Alright, so it's basically they're on a tree. You have the walkways. They don't actually have buildings, just walkways. Not sure how helpful that would be. Golden crash machine, Dragon's Den. Let's see what we have for dragons. Oh, interesting. It's not necessarily have to be a dragon, but there is forest here, and then some debris, and then they have the cave area, so definitely a cave. Put big bears in there, wolves or something, that would work too. Cool, 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 cool. This is a giant's cave? Interesting. Because this looks like it is only 5 foot wide, and I guess maybe it's 10 foot. It would need to be 10 foot for the giant to get through. Otherwise, the giant is going to have a hard time. Okay, it's 3, so 15 foot. Just shy of 15 foot. It would have to be for the giant. Otherwise, the giant could not fit. Or the giant is 2 by 2 square or bigger. Depending on the type of giant, you know. There's many types of giants of many different sizes. But they are large in comparison to a human, if not larger. Huge, potentially. This could actually be a nice old ruin, say, of Ingmar or something, and then have it where the trolls have taken up lovely hospitable location and are welcoming visitors for dinner. Right? Trolls would love to have you for dinner. Like, oh, this is this. Yes, see, this is another one I could see us using. A nice cave. Yes. Yes, that one did work. This one would work too. Yes, this one would work. Oh, the people are feeling not healthy. This is another one that will work perfect for our needs. The need to feed. Right? Eternal rest. What do you see as the eternal rest? Oh no, that eternal rest, that is an awfully big individual. I would have to say it is not actual bone, but stone made to look like bone of something very large. Unless we said it was stone instead of bone. Interesting. Tomorrow mata paroras kata blossom gordon tsutasas. Mainly just seeing how quick they load into the software and everything. I mean, we still need to do performance testing with people connecting and doing things, but this was very doable. I do like it. So, now that we've tested how quick it loads, we won't bother doing that. We will just go ahead and go here and quickly look at them. Mine. A mine! Cool. Arkansas illa array. Trying to see which is which. Okay, so this is top, this is bottom. So this is kind of the top area, and if they discover it, they can go down below and get into there. Cool. I'm sure dead people love being disturbed. That actually will work well for what we have and planned for the individuals to explore within this realm. Down. To a sneeze. Not really, you guys, I think, didn't get to hear the sneeze, which is, beneficial, because I don't want to blow your eardrums. Okay, so it's either crypt or storage. You find their option. Undead, necromantic, demonic. Ooh, okay. Just storage. And this location, which is the main location, the Cultist Mountain Cottage. This is a cottage. Looks like Cultist isn't there. Where's the stairs you're supposed to lead down to the other area, though, if you have my meaning? Because it shows that there's a stairs here going down to here. Where did those stairs supposed to come up? Here. I don't see it. Oh, well, it is what it is. We will have to investigate upon further information being delivered to our location. I see they got a good sanctuary point. You got a nice chasm that people can't get over or get into. Yeah, that's nice. Alright, give me just one moment. I need to take care of something here quickly. And press on looking at all these wonderful things, making devious plans for the players to encounter. alright, up in here. Let's get this going. Thank you all for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Hope you're having a grand old time. Feel free to holler and chat and give me your input and feelings on things. Enjoy chatting with you all. So, I do like this one a lot. This would be a nice camp sanctuary area if they successfully find a good place to do so during their travels. And we can even have this one, which would give them, kind of an advantage if they're hiding away from foes seeking to hunt them down and eradicate their souls. Open, please. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, oh, yes. Ruins. I do like this one. And I did get paid to have access to these, so they are legal for us to use in this sort of an endeavor. I made sure that it was the case, because you got to make sure these sort of things are legal and acceptable. We don't want to have any problems now, do we? But look at this beauty. I have it where you come inside and go to this nice area. You have a bit of a study and storage. And you can go up to the bedroom. This is a nice little hobbit hole, or maybe a bit of a hermit with some good information for the party. You never know what they might find. A bandit camp. That would always be pleasant for them. They find this old ruin and go to check it out and find that it's infested with bandits, going to feast upon the flesh of the fallen, or maybe just want to cause a little bit of grief and pain for their followers. You never know. I'm not sure about this one. This one seems to be more the sort of the dwarven like or something like that. But I'm not saying it's a bad one. I'm just not sure as much how it would fit with what they're doing. I do like that they have it downstairs though. Maybe it could be like a dwarven outpost or something. I could see that being adorable. Let's see what else we could find. A mountain stronghold? A ruined one at that? What kind of ruins do they have? And let's see, we open this. This is the basement apparently. And this would be the top floor. Yeesh. See the top floor here, where it's along the forest road. Interesting little encampment, and I have the stairs going down. And then if you go down to the stairs, you find a lower level, where they have all these interesting things. Nice. Ooh, yes. Got it. I know what this is. It's not so much ruined as you might think. It is just occupied by some other individuals that you'll need to make allies with if you do not wish to seek their ire. Well, this one looks to be about the same. Interesting. This is about the same. Why do they call it something different if it really looks to be the same? It really looks to be the same. Temple. Ruined mountain stronghold. Yeah, what's the difference? Trees versus no trees. Otherwise, it's the same. You can't tell me this one is the temple and this one is a stronghold when the only difference is the trees. Excuse me. But it's alright. Waterfall Lagoon. Nighttime. Oh, that's pretty. The people set up camp in a pretty lagoon of dead things, crawling forth to feast upon their flesh. Yeah, I'm sure that wouldn't cause any problems for the party, right? Nah. Perfect. Assassin Master Lair. Why is it an Assassin Master Lair? Wouldn't it just be Assassin's Group Lair or something like that? I mean, it's pretty cool, don't get me wrong. inside the mountain, which is, yeah, of course, better hidden that way. Get nice big double doors. Sign-in book to make sure you track who's there. Statues. Offering of the heart to the Night Mother. Sweet mother, send your servants unto me. Right? Take it a hoo-hoo if anyone knows what that is. Or something. Yes, sweet mother, send your servant unto me, for the sins of the wicked must be cleansed in blood. Altar to the mother, and to Sithis. Beautiful. I am really digging this one. Now this one. Beautiful. I really do. I'm liking it. I am liking it. I figured this would be fun to share thoughts and plans and stuff with you guys, and you can kind of give me your input as well. Ooh, river base. It's alright. This level doesn't have a whole lot. Hopefully the base camp layer, the other layer, has more. Not really. It's a little camp. Definitely hard to get to, secure. Maybe it's like a remote contact or something that is being hunted, so they find a little hidey hole base to kind of go to. That's the only way I could see that working. Okay, so that's the bottom level. So this is the top level. Coming adventuring along, find the ruins, start poking around, find their stairs to go down. Poke down around, go downstairs, and find smack dab you're face to face with an unpleasant individual who just wants to bite your face off. Yeah. Of course, see, there's no entrance here, except for right here, and you go down. And you happen to go down, and you come out here, and they are all ready to have you for dinner. I even like that they have all this underground cave work that otherwise doesn't exist. Corsairs or other ilk. Technically you could use it as, good aligned individuals as well if they need a base of operations to work out of to hide from the shadow. Death is not a bad place to hide, or in the shadow of ruins and ancient dead is not exactly a terrible place to hide. Less likely to look. No, that place is unoccupied. No, it's not. Surprise! Now that's a problem. I'm sure a dragon cult would never cause any issues. Yep. Minimum Denaro. I like it. I like it. So this is the top level. Chasm of water between stairs. Little outpost looking over the area down below. Little tower. Okay, and then you go down the stairs. Yep, I saw that one. Come down here, you can come down here, you can come down here. Or if you're down below, you can walk along and come in. Nice, nice. I could see that being quite usable as well. Excellent. And I have not actually been through these maps, so you guys are actually reviewing these maps with me for the first time. For the last time. No, wait. For the first time. I was joking. just for the first time. That is cool. This one's reversed. The upstairs looks out over the forested area, and the downstairs is where the actual entrance comes in the forest level. And then you can climb up to the other floor. That is cool. I dig it, I dig it, I dig it, I dig it. So you have a up here and up here to go to the top floor. I see, it looks like you went up, because the way in is darker, which means it's down below in the shadow. So then you come on up here and you go through the door, take a look around. There's a little sitting area. It's kind of a bit main area. This area is kind of cool because you can outlook over the area, see what kind of trouble's coming around, poking around, seeing what kind of things you can do from here. It's a good point of strength. Of course, you can go downstairs and see the prisoners if there's any. Do you like this one? I think I have an idea for this one as well. I think it'll do well for what I have in mind. But we'll have to see what we can do. You never know, after all. Players are really good at interrupting things and taking your plans and digging it up all over them. Oh, that's cool. Little merchant caravan. Forest caravan camp. In your travels, you come along a caravan. Do you help them, or do you feast upon their horses and become orcs? Oh wait, what? A giant lair. Well, I mean, it's not that giant. Oh, you mean giant like a giant's lair. My bad, I'm so silly. No, I knew what they meant, I just had to joke with it. This could be another troll horde location. That would be wonderful. I do like it. Yes. Yes. I'm a troll, and I come to eat you. Still, another little forest location. Nice little outpost, they're trying to be defendable. Could always have it where it leads into one of the other ones back. And this is just the entrance level to be protected. Let me know what you think. I think it'd work fairly well for that. And lower level like we saw before. Going to the top level like we saw before. It's just a moonlit version of the forest base camp. Starlight camp? Does that mean they have some stars? No, it's just the dark version of it. It's just a dragon cult, whether they attack at night or in the day. That's an interesting way to have it. Castle, Manors, and Keep. Abandoned Keep. The abandoned keep is here to stay, for it is abandoned and won't go away. Three levels it does have of ruin and destruction. For yours is the day that comes no more. Interesting. So the roof section where they can overlook. Pretty excellent. And then they have, looks like this is a sub-level. Yes, the basement. You come down the stairs and you look around and you can sneak out. No one knows where you went and you're gone. And then, of course, you had the main levels where people come in, take a look around and see what's going on. Come to find out, you already slipped away while they weren't looking. And all they have to find is death that awaits them, an abode that is unattended by any. Yeah, that one's there. Oh, that's this one going down here. I was wondering where that matches up. It looks like that one matches up with this sort of location. Not exactly the most secret of entrance. I would have thought that this one should be kind of over here somewhere or something. A little bit more hidden on the inside so people can get to it. Oop, don't need that one. Let's go back here. Alright, let's go here. Abandoned Mansion. The Abandoned Mansion is worse than the Abandoned Monsoon. When the monsoon goes away and the mansion remains. Spooky and desolate as always, with the creeping of the dead. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Abandoned mountain hideout. Fairly basic. Got a little entrance going off and one going down. Some of these could potentially tie into the others. This one's fairly devoid of things. It's certainly abandoned. There's nothing there. I guess you could always get some other items and decorate it up and make it look occupied. You never know. What is this one? It said Adventurers Abandoned Manor. What kind of abandoned manor is abandoned manor by adventurers? By definition of adventurers, you'd think it wouldn't be abandoned. But you never know. Cool. So this is the main floor. This is the basement. The Bagulan Metadueta. Meh. Yippee dip. A little way off there. Got stairs going up and whatnot. Upper floor, so that's the main floor. That's the upper floor. They don't have the roof. Okay, no problem. Just means we might have to put a roof on. We want to have one. Wait a minute. Oh, abandoned manor and adventurer's manor. So one's abandoned and one's occupied, so one has stuff. Aye. So if the party wants a manor, you could have them use that and have it be abandoned. And they find it and they fill it out, and then you have it filled out with a dead body and all. They can pay to import the dead body. Woohoo! In the blood sacrifice ritual. Yeah, I'm sure that'll work great for them. Cool. Cool. That's doable and workable. This one is empty. Interesting. This one is nighttime, but not empty. Interesting. Forest Mashon. This interesting. Very happy smile on the floor. Perfect. Smile, the floor is gonna eat you. Sweet. Now, Dump, I did see that it showed you on the list of users in chat, but are you here? Same with Exorcist. I know your names. I saw you was listed in chat. Just curious if you guys are here or not. Or if you're just lurking. Either way, I appreciate it. And yeah, cool. Oh, that's definitely dwarven. Cool. A dwarven outpost. Warlord. Interesting. Savage Work Camp. Why is it a savage camp? That's cool. Got a gate. And it's walled off there. So either you can try to breach the wall, or you can try to sneak into the camp. Cool. Morgoth would be pleased. Wyvern's Rest. I don't know about that. I don't believe we want any wyverns resting anywhere. Not seeing a very good use for this one. But that's alright. If you guys do, let me know any of your thoughts on these things. I'm certainly open to it. Okay, cool. Big cliffside down below, and then you're up on a cliff above. You go down, you can look out. Not really a way up. Definitely Dragonblade Keep. Looks more like a bit of a shrine with all the statuettes they have around. They even have a sword or an altar along with armor. Interesting. Wonder what could be found in this library that they have located, looking across the misty valley that is seen below, where the wind howls and blows, but they have a map on the floor made of a rug. Wait, that's on the table, there's a map. The rug on the floor is just a rug on the floor. My bad. I got things confused a little bit based on resolutions, but that's alright. What is to be had in the Lord's Manor? For there is no Lord located within the manor. Then what makes it be a Lord's Manor if the Lord does not exist? Is it just because it's a lordly manor? And if that is the case, then does that mean he who resides within becomes a lord? Or is it a manor that only a lord could afford, and so it is deemed to be a lord's manor, though devoid of life? Simply because we haven't put anyone in it, but that's not the point. It looks cool though. Definitely nice. Definitely nice, definitely nice. That is a good map. That is a good map. That is a good map. Mad Warden's Prison. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's terrible. I know exactly what we can do with this. You want to cause problems? We have a place for people like you. Come with me, and I will show you your new home. This is cool. Manor of the Great Vault. Where's the Great Vault? Where's the Great Vault? Where's the vault? Where's the vault? I guess it's probably they're saying this is the vault with all the lovely dwarven runes of sealing. Ooh, lots of money. And weapons and shield. That's pretty cool. Yeah. We can make this work. I have a few ideas that this could work. Exceptional. This is... Oh, I know this one. Oh, this one could be fun then too. Yes. I think I have a plan. I am working on plan. Plan is developing within the cranial gray matter, and soon will be fully formed into a thing called plan. This is up above, and then it goes below like the other one that gets seen, right? Oh, but no entrance. It is on the cliff of the forest, but there's no entrance from there. You must climb up to get access to it. And then you may enter and find that your victim has already fled from the secret chambers below, leaving you naught but death and destruction. Sounds great. We'll do that. Generic forest. I believe these was the ones we were looking at earlier. Yes, indeed. This was the ones we were flipping at on the map here. There's not a lot of them now. We want to see kind of what all of them are. It's good to know what we have available so we have an idea what we can do and where we can go. So we can have some ideas and how to form the story better and have something to support it and make it more doable. Cool. It's doable. It's doable. Rowan's Gully. You better be rowing, otherwise you're not getting out of the gully. The what? Again, how do I did this? 72. This one. Party. Tower level. You can go up and you can go down. And this one, you can only go down because it's the top. And this one, this is the bottom floor. I know what we're going to do with this one. I already know where this one's going to be located. Along with some interesting individuals that happen to make this sort of thing. I think our players are going to enjoy this sort of place. As long as they don't get themselves wrapped up in it. Yes. Idea for that. Ooh, Kingbridge. Kingbridge. Oh wow. That is a high bridge. If that bridge goes out, you're going to have a much longer trek. Probably a day's trek down and up just to get over that. Where if you can get on the bridge, you're just zoop. Nice. You got word that someone is going to destroy the bridge. That is done. We cannot get proper equipment where it needs to go within time. Ensure the bridge does not fall. Ooh, the white tree is dead. No! Tartan rest. Yeah. We have seen one like that. The Benskilisk. Oh, this is the place we found that's inside that little tree thing. Yeah, we saw one like that. The other one's called the other thing. Yeah, I remember that one. Monster Lair? Oh, I see they're saying there's a little thing under there that comes out the image from that. Okay, I got it. That'll make a sense. That'll make a sense. Just gotta check it. We got a lot of walkways across. I'm not sure why and what for. There's definitely a good place for an ambush, though. I ambush you from above. Take an arrow to the knee. Now you can't be an adventurer. Ha ha! Ruined tower. Interesting. Mark of the Vanir. Pools of tranquility. Interesting. Got fish. Apparently fish are tranquil. It depends on how big they get. If they get too big, I don't feel they're very tranquil. They're more threatening. But hey, you never know until you measure their size, I guess. I like. Because you can do this to the other one. You have the other one become the other one. Oh yeah. Okay. I have ideas forming in my brain, which is good. This one's doable too, because you could have it with him up there, and there guy go up there, and there guy just get you in it. Yeah. Cool. Jump it. Get across there. Splash down into the water and sludge across. You miss your jump and you fall down and you break your bones. And now you're to be feasted upon. It'd be a fun escape one. Get away or die trying. Giant Eagle's Fortress Lagoon. Not sure about that. Oh, I see. So you can come up here, but you don't have a way over, and you don't have a way over here. But it is similar to the other one, which is alright, I guess. Just a steady groove. Still, not bad. Kararuki's nest. This looks to be the same one again. Why are they reusing so many of them? It's kind of frustrating. I was hoping for them to be a little bit more unique. This is basically the same thing as the last one, but combined with the one before it that had the little vines going, which is only different from the other one by not having the bridges. It's definitely a lot of overlap. I was hoping for some more distinct features. Ooh. Fall in and fall forever. I don't know if that one's going to be very usable to us. I don't know that any of these are going to be very usable to us. Because we're not doing plane shifting. It doesn't exist in our setting. Our setting says that there's only one plane that you can exist on. All the other ones are going to be the end of you. Yeah, if we do a different one, I could see these settings being worthwhile, but not in this one. This one is not going to be worthy at all. Well, that's cool. So if you're trying to get across, you can try to use the trees, but if you fall in, you get swept away. That could be fun. We could have a TPK from water. Oh, that would be epic. So how'd your party all die? They got washed away in the cleansing flood. No, I don't actually want a TPK. But I mean, if they all rolled ones, well, then it's not so much me as the dice. And we all know the dice are fickle masters. They always like doing their own thing, with no regard for your feelings. They will bless you and they'll curse you, one right after the other, and you'll never know what it's going to be until the die is cast. And once it is cast, the fate of many determined by the pips of a few. Oh, there we go. Interesting. cemetery. Great. For having dead things creeping along. The necromancer has come and raised the dead. And they are hungry. Cool. I like. I won't be having them fight the dead things at first. That would be a little bit above there. You could say pay grade, but it's more life grade. Their life has not been graded as that worthy. They have to earn that worthiness. Then they may face the true foe, and decide if they are found wanting, or if they may accomplish great deeds of mighty daring, and potentially doom. What do you think, my friends? Do you think that sounds like an acceptable thing? Or do you think we should let them jump into their own demise? The tomb of the three kings of old and yore. Enter forth the gullet, there within shall find the tenfold foe who sips upon thy blood. That could be a fun little prophecy for them to have fun with, right? Then have a vampire within. Which there are vampires, but they're very different from what most decide the mythos of vampires should be. Much more twisted, bestial than what others portray them as. No illusion of good or acceptability, pure rot, evil, and decay. Ooh. Morog's tomb. Within lies the great Morog, slayer of Balog, for he doth slew and be slain by the beast of yore. This hero sleeps upon the parapet, and beneath him rests the guardian spirit. Come ye who dare, and doom awaits. That would be fun. Run or die. Yes. That will do. That will be good. Do it a little bubbly. I do approve of that which has been seen. For the quests that shall come from them to defeat. Yes, it is ready. Yes, it is good. Alright. Just trying to think of quests that would work with these maps that we can toss to the way of the players and actually have them fit and not be like, well, it's kind of like this, but this isn't really it. It's kind of like not this. That just gets confusing. And so that's the whole point of looking at these, is to get ideas for ourselves to be able to be like, I see how this could be used for what. and that would fit in the world of the setting we find ourselves within. Yes. Oh, I do like this one. Gaping holes ripped asunder. Step one wrong step, and you shall be sent under. Yes. That is be good. That is be fun. Because then there's great reward with great risk. Oh, this one will not fit for what the setting we find ourselves. So this one is one that shall not be used. At least from what I can toad and fathom. I do like it, but it does not abide by the world in which we are doing it. The same could be said about this one. It is not that I do not approve of it, as it is not acceptable design and spectrum of the setting that we are in. Do not accept things that do not fit the paradigm of he who created our setting. Why do we have to print and non-print? What is the difference between the two bloody maps? I don't understand it. Like, seriously? What is the difference between these two? I don't see a wink of a difference between them. Am I missing something? Or am I just going mad? Then again, it could be both. You never know. The mind is a fickle thing. Hey Dump, if you actually are here in chat, man, how did your day go? I missed Jarl's Fallout thing earlier. I don't know if you caught it or not. I had other prior engagements to attend, and thus I must, and so I did. Alright, I didn't see a difference, but it looks like a righted village. I think we can make that work. I know where that could be from. I do want you to be larger, please. Oh, that would be troublesome. I think I know what we can do. And this is abandoned vampire. Really? It's empty. Wouldn't necessarily call that so much abandoned as absolutely empty and devoid. Abandoned kind of makes you feel like there's a little something there that can be done. Abandoned is different than emptied. But that one seems like it has been emptied, see? Emptied. I could see us using it though, because we could always get our own assets to put in there. I think it's very doable. There's a good chance it could be done. They're going to need some places to stay after all. They don't have any places to stay. They're likely to get themselves killed much easier. Ruins of Tel El-Bazad. Cool. Frenzy Heap is better than the friends you don't. Bapadino Norma? First floor. No enter. This must be top floor? That looks out equal to this. Maybe let me look at this one again. Yes. Okay, so this is bottom floor. And you go in. And did you go up? And that brings you to the up. Yes. Okay, that's cool. That's doable. I have some ideas that'll work. That can be used for some things. Let's see. Ruins of Blackthorn. This is not the first floor. This is a much larger abode. Blackthorn basement. Is it the basement? Oh, you enter through the basement. That is interesting. Enter through the basement. And you can't get everywhere in the basement. Oh yeah, you can. There's a door. You can't get here though. But it goes down further. And up. And over here you can only access this via this door. Or the stairs that go up. Quite a few of them go up. And these ones go down. 2 sets of stairs don't go down from the basement. That is interesting. Sub-basement. So this is the basement. Interesting. The basement below the basement. Interesting. That would mean that the normal room, though being called the room, is not level with the ground around, but elevated a bit. Interesting. I'm not sure about that. Not opposed, but not necessarily for it either. A small keep, that's for sure. Stairs that descend into nowhere, apparently. That is interesting. I guess you could always create a new area for that, which is totally doable. Okay. Yes, I like endless chasms, reaching deep, dark places of the world, where those who are good do not go, for deep, dark things go there, that not even orcs will face, in the dark, dark places of the world in which we live, for there are things older and more foul than all else. This one is very similar to the other one. It's not bad, I just puzzled a little bit at the reused assets to that degree. I wish there's a little bit more diversity. I mean, it's not bad, they're fairly high details, like I said, I just wish that there's a little more diversity. The Eye of Malkar waits in the center for those with the courage to face him. The blessing of the Shadow is there for those to succeed. Who wants to go? You can create your character as a free NPC upon entering and accepting the gifts. All those who wish to accept, raise your hands. Oh, no, interesting. So this resides below this, and the only this way in is this, and this. Curious. I do like. I want to find some assets we can use for furnishing such abodes. Entrance there, and you can go up to there or down from there. Alright. It is what it is. But they all wind up being a little bit repetitive, which is slightly disappointing, I shall say. But that one's new. Ooh. Idea for this one. Yes. You want info? You must work for info, for nothing in this world is free. Ooh, that one's pretty. Yeah, I like. Itawana, Atawitesa Warawanamana. But this one they finally have some new. Oh, there we go. Cool. Cool. That's reused from the other one, yeah. Steel. Finally something a little different. Town, cities, and buildings of the forest. Oh, interesting. Oh, interesting. Could see something we could do with that. Yeah, we could do that. Day and night, he will remain on guard, for the foe is endlessly attacking. Except for the little strange woodman's hut on the edge of ooh, bloody. Oh, it's a gatehouse. Oh, I see. So you have the wall, and then the only way through is to come through this gatehouse area. And you have the guards here. I see. That could be very defensible and a good way to do it. I do like it. And then you have the upper stairs above it. Indeed. Indeed. I could see that being workable. Oh, and then... Yes. We'll change this up to that. Okay, I'm making more sense of how it can work now. Way up and way down. First floor. Basement. Down we go. Sneaky, sneaky. Coo. And the roof. Up on the rooftop we can reside, sniping our enemies as they try to hide. A basement we do have, with food aplenty. We scavenge it from those. We dine on aplenty. Fortified town wall. That's just the other one, just before any combat happens. Interesting. I think we can definitely make use of that. Let's see. This is the second floor. This is the first. And this is the roof. So we'll go in order of the floors and see what we can find. So then on the first floor you have some small market stalls. And the looks like this would be a fun place to have as a place for them all to visit. That's the abode of someone nice. It's someone who could be a foe or a friend, depending on how they'd go. Indeed, the office resides there, I see, for them to meet, and then possibly flee. Yeah. Dump. I have plans for you, sir. You and your fellows are in for a treat. Just be warned lest you be beat. Yars. Doable indeed. Hamlet of Grimsby. I think that one sounds pretty nice, don't you? Banawuda Ekabonda Dawada. Ooh. So you could have this one, right? Or this one you have to come in here to get out the trade road. However, you also have it where you can come down in here and you travel on down to here. And here you can get yourself a boat to get yourself down the water a little bit quicker. I could see that being beneficial. Indeed. Spend the night and set a sail. Oh no, you let them all get sacked dump. How could you not save their lives? You received a proper warning, and you neglected to follow suit, and now they all perished. Why, oh why did you let it happen? You do it, it's all Burek's fault, let's be honest. Tunamura. Cool. Oh, the ransackary. Ooh, another town abode. Ransacked hamlet of Gridby. Oh, full of ransackary, I see. Intriguing. I will indeed have to use those. Ooh. Tournament. Welcome, compatriots. You wish to challenge me, you must first defeat my champions. Yes. Yes. I have plan. It shall be good. I think. Ooh, a mill. That's cool. You must speak to the old miller down by the river. Only he does know from which to dither. Town of Tinsled. It's not so much a town as a small section of the town, don't you know? And they definitely have a bit of a basement and something very dark and foul going on. You know what I mean. Where that entrance is there, brings you down below to the realm of the dead, where no man may go. The village gatehouse shows up once again. See what we can find before we begin. Village of Blackthorn is a place to go. What do they have? You may never know. It resides on the shelf of an old, laden place, but the only entrance to it comes from a dark place. The village of fate lays in the balance. For you're a crazy squirrel, you know what a gallant. I am absolutely going mad. Not really, but really. Yeah, just having a fun time looking at all of these things. Hope you guys are enjoying it too. You never know what we'll find. Could have lots of good inspiration here. Could find many dark things. You never know what you'll find. An elven village? Is that for sure? I didn't know that I'd say it's a village. It's more of a small hamlet at most. They do have a little bar, I guess, overlooking the falls. I hope you don't dump out. You know how far it goes. A forest library is a place to see. I'll slap you with books, and then you'll be. Alright. Place of learning is here within. Brawl, who bow to the Grimsby begin. What? Oh, I see. strange as can be. Hope you do not travel to this place, from whence there be of primitive forest. This is that place you go. Find lots of hoodlums and creatures that go. Primitive forest arena to be. You could practice your fight before they all flee. A river, valley, village. The place above. You go below and find more than above. Interesting hat. I think I can know what we can do with that. Summerest village. Another one indeed. The same one, just reskinned for a different place to be. Why do we have two of these? They're the same again. Well. Interesting little quaint place. It's a little place indeed. Right, that's interesting indeed. Let's see what else we can find for this place to have. What a forest outpost. Fortified. It is a fortified position. You shall not enter, no matter the costs might be. It is a bandit camp. They'll hold you at bay. Come what may. Ooh, now I have a plan for this one too. Yes. It will be fun and not, all in the same stroke. Alright, interesting. I think I have one for this one too. Oh, how much fun the players will have when those that sink their skulls will have a place to store them. Because, you know, what fun is it to take a party's skull if you don't have a place to sit it? You know what I mean? A pirate kit? That is interesting. I think I know where to move this one to. I'm trying to be so much pirate, but you won't know what it is until I hit you in the gazer. Oh, this one's interesting. So basically they're saying there's a way up. And this way goes up to the other floor. Let's see what the other floor has entailed for them. Indeed, that's even further up. Oh me, oh my, you could go all the way down to the misty floor of the valley below, where the river doth flow. That could be very interesting indeed. Now this one on the other hand, I don't think this is one that we can be making use of. It just doesn't fit the setting very well. What? In another setting? I could see this one being a great fun. Ooh, another nice one. Indubitably. Yes, that's another good one. Generic host of a lake. Now see, these are doable ones. The generic ones are definitely going to be used a lot more because you can easily retool them for basically any area of a random encounter. I just need to know what the encounter takes place and slap one of these bad boys down and call it random encounter number 1. Not really number 1, but you get the point. It will be very doable and usable and wonderful. Alright, we're going to take a quick break from looking at these. As I get back in my sight. Been standing for a while and my body's starting to get a little achy. Let's see here. Mr. Jarl of Goats is going to be doing Red Dead Redemption. I think we'll be going and dropping him a visit when we're done. Alright, let's take a look at this. So, to speak to which most shall know the events foretold in The Hobbit transpires in the year 2941, when Gandalf meets Thorin Oakenshield in Bree. He then begins the work of setting forth. The work to have the 5 armies fight and Erebor regained. That takes place in the year 2941. In the year 2942, Bilbo Baggins of the Shire doth return. In 2951, Sauron arrives in Mordor, where the Nazgûl have been waiting for him and rebuilding. At Barad-dûr, Gandalf meets Aragorn in 2956, knowing that he is the heir of Elendil, the son of Arathorn II. Frodo Baggins is born in the year 2968. Bilbo takes guardianship of Frodo, his nephew, in the year 2989. Balin leads the dwarves to Moria in 2989 as well. Balin, the Lord of Moria, is killed by orcs in 2994, and the dwarves of Moria are destroyed. In 3001, Bilbo Baggins turns 111 and throws his 111th birthday with Gandalf and others there in the Shire, and he passes the One Ring to Frodo. Now, we rewind back to 2989, when Balin and the dwarves take up residence in Moria, and when Frodo Baggins is born. That is 1,000 years. 100? No, that's 1,000 years before or after our story takes place. For when our story takes place, we must rewind. Back. All the way back. To before the year 1980. For in 1980 an event unfolds, where the dwarves of Moria, also known as Khazad-dûm, awaken a Balrog. Our setting will take place before that. This is not a complete timeline, it's one I got from a website that was missing some of the time. That in between here there's an event right about here. That should be here and isn't. And so this is not complete. I will be adding more to it. It was just a quick copy paste from another location. So shh, don't tell anyone. No, not really. It's available online. Everyone can get it. It's just some people have collected it. So this is not accurate. I'm gonna have to relook at all this timeline stuff then, because I know this is off. I'm gonna have to cross-check it. Because Witch King did not destroy them until after the hobbits arrived, because the hobbits were awarded ownership of the Shire prior to the fall of Angmar, or Arnor. I know this part's correct. which is one of the big things we need to talk about. So that is accurate, and that is actually close to the time frame that our story will be taking place. Our story will be taking place a little before that, but you know what, you must have fun. It is what it is. So, yeah. Before Erebor, before the dragon, before the hobbit, before many tales unfold within Middle-earth, our party of adventurers meets and gathers for deeds that must be done. In the year 1960, I believe, maybe 1970. I'm still debating the exact timeline, but now that I know that this is not totally accurate, right around here actually, I know I need to modify things a little bit. I need to find that. So let's go ahead and do that and see what we can find. Open to me, my pretty. Why are you being a pill? You should have opened what I already had open. Okay. You did, you're just being a pill. Got it. I want you. There we go. Oh, I see what happened. It's been a fickle tad. Very well, you fickle tad. We'll make you work anyways. Oh, stop it. The history of Arda is the timeline. The Tolkien Gateway. Very well. We'll see what we have to find on these locations. Oh yes, this is the locations of Arda. See, this is Middle Earth, also known as Arda. This is the Undying Lands. Yes. Yes. Okay, that's not what I need. Could you tell me what I need? I need to have the story of when the things came. Do you have the information on what is currently happening? Do you have a timeline? Or are you just a place to do things? Okay. Now, I have considered running the game in the fourth stage, the second stage, or the first stage. But I think I'm going to stick within the third stage, so we can have some things that are very familiar going on instead of being totally lost. And of course we have nothing here to see at all. That is very unfortunate. Why do you not have anything here at all? You have the old... Oh, there it goes. It just didn't load yet. Oh, Shire Reckoning. The Third Age. I get what it is. I was wondering what the SR was. It's the Shire Reckoning. No doubt, the creation of the Shire. Count the year of the Shire Reckoning begins with year 1. And the year 1601 of the Third Age. The king of Argleb II becomes the 10th king of the Arthedain. And Arthedain awards the realm of the Shire to those who are known as the Hobbits, and thus the year of Shire Reckoning begins. That is more what I expected to see. So that took place in 1601. Let us transfer back over to what we were looking at. 1601, that is correct. But see, he couldn't have destroyed them, as the King of Arthedain is still there. How can the King of Arthedain be here if he's already been slain? You see what I'm saying? But if Imli becomes King of Gondor, Stoors from Dunland settle in the Shire. The Stoors are indeed the Shire folk. They're another one of the Shire folk. There's actually 3. There's 3 types of Shire folks for you all to know, just in case you didn't know. In fact, I can go ahead and show you what we have for Shire folk. There's 3 of them. So if you go here and you go to the Shire folk, the hobbits of the Shire, in fact, you can get down and see there is actually 3 types of families that are the main folk of the Shire. You have the Harfoot, the Stour, and the Follow-eyed. Those are the ones that kind of make up the Shire folk. Very good indeed. So, the Stours come from Dunland. That is interesting. I didn't know they came from Dunland. I thought they actually came from further, and I thought they all came down the Shire one mark. Apparently not. Shows me what I know. I'm still learning. Oh yeah, the Great Plague. That was not good. The Great Plague is terrible. Caused all sorts of problems. As long as it's not too loud, it should be fine. Birth of Durin. Durin the Fourth. Indeed. 18. Death of Arbrigg, King of Arnor. Indeed. Birth of 91. King of Gondor. Angmar. Temporarily defeated. Easterlings attack Gondor. See, that is what I was talking about. How can you have the defeat of them before while still having them be your people? You can't exactly do that now, can you? Death of now the Battle of the Plains. Lots of the Prince of Gondor, Grim's King of the Gondor, for the refugees of Rovner. To the Vales of Anduin, where they become the Ethelred. Birth of Banner, Birth of Lace of Gondor's Easterlings are defeated. Kirsch builds the White Tower and Minister Earth. Where's Arnor? I mean, the Death of Cumberland becomes Gondor, Thrain. Where's the one I'm looking for? What's the date? What was the date indeed? 1980. 1980 is the one I was thinking about. Alright, let me see here. We travel down a little bit further. Angmar's destroyed. There we go. I knew that one was one of the things we needed to find. That is an unfortunate event. 2 Palanteri destroyed. Boromir becomes Lord of Eärendil. Yes, that's what I knew about. See, this is the destruction of Arnor. Specifically, what was the kingdom? Nuatha. Arthedain. The Arthedain section of Arnor. And, yeah, that's why the Palantiri are lost. Aranthar becomes chief of the Dunedain. And they actually become named the Dunedain because they cease being Arnor. So, this is about the time I was saying. Because you have the destruction of Arnor here. Which does not correlate to what we had here. They're saying he destroyed it here. He did not destroy all 3. 1300. Now, if we go back to 1300 and look at 1300, we come right upon up here. Right here, yeah. You found Angmar. Orcs start increasing in the Misty Mountains and attack the dwarves. Hobbits move away. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. That's what I expect to see there. But then we see that later on. Arnor had split into 3 kingdoms, which weakened them. And of course the Witch King wouldn't take advantage of someone being weakened. No, never. He never pokes out weaknesses. And so that's where some of the issues started forming up and happening. And then we come down here, Witch King Angmar invades Arnor and destroys the Tower of Amansul. And occupies Rundurth. That's the first. And then ravages the second. But you still have Arthedain. Gondor is still doing its thing. I knew that. We're good there. Okay. Yeah, this is more correct to what I've seen elsewhere, and in the book that talks about it. My brain's doing great tonight. Perfect. Flawless. Beautiful. If you believe me, I question your sanity. So, but yeah, so this is things that have happened before we take place. So I do want to copy this into there, because I think this is actually more accurate to the Third Age, and a lot more details now that I'm seeing it. And it's not to not use this, it's just that way I don't have to pull the browser up every time I want to just look at a stinking page. I can just pull up something else, look at it. So, did not mean to go that far. I need 19. Yeah. Durin's Bane awakens in Khazad-dûm. The death of Durin the Four. Nine becomes king of Durin's folk. Yep. So I'm thinking we want to do it before that, because I think it would be fun to have this be one of the rumor things that gets heard. Is that a mighty beast has awoken. In Khazad-dûm, the way is shut. But I was hoping to travel through there. Not anymore, you won't. Death of Narenwan, dwarves flee Moria. Death of Amroth and Nimdel. Sylvan elves flee south. Galadriel and Celeborn return to Lothlorien. Death of Pelennor. Stewardship of Gondor becomes hereditary. Yeah. Yeah. See, having his death in it, if anyone plays as a man of Gondor. Yeah. I think this will be good. An earlier steward, so this is already a stewards of Gondor. Okay. Okay, so I'm thinking for him. Where did he become? Or no, 2 I think is the one I was thinking of. Was selected the 32nd king of Gondor after his predecessor King Hunter was slain in battle, and the Arid King had been warned by right. Army into 2, assigning smaller forces. Made his base at Pelennor. Pressing into and have his forces. Yeah. Yeah. King's sister son must have left Gondor with question of who should succeed the throne. However, the men of Gondor, it seemed small stewardship. makes sense. Yeah. Yep. Kirdan met the host of Angmar and destroyed it. Yep. I like Kirdan. Kirdan is a very interesting character. I don't know if you guys know Kirdan. But if you don't, you should read up on Kirdan. Yes. Unbeknownst to Miller, his sons, Witch King, Lord of the Nazgul, entered more, yeah. From Mordor's besiege Minith Ethel, yeah, and becomes Minith Morgul. Who would be the last king? Yeah. So they don't actually have an entry for him. So yeah, Inar is the one I was thinking of. He accepts a challenge from the Witch King. He puts the crown of Gondor on the lap of his dead father, and the crown remains there to the War of the Crown when Faramir brought coronation of Isildur. Which, if you guys don't know who Isildur is, you should. It's kind of important. Isildur, also known as Aragorn, King of Gondor and Arnor. Yes, good stuff. But that's much later. So he's in 2043. So that won't take place during our campaign, probably. Because we're talking 1980 is when we're playing. And that's 2043, so that's 63 years later. Yeah, I don't think we'll have our campaign span 63 years. Just don't think that's happening. But yeah, this is cool too. Cool. Alright. This is much better timeline. No, I don't want your stupid commercial. Don't care about your stupid commercial. I don't want it. Yeah. Oh, I thought this one agrees with the other one about the timeline, so the only one that we have as a problem is the one that we currently have saved, because we didn't realize how off it was. 1980. The dwarves of Khazad-dûm awaken Durin's Bane, the Balrog which kills Durin the Fourth, the king of Khazad-dûm. The Nazgul returned to Mordor as they were defeated. The armies of Gondor, Lindon, destroy Angmar in the Battle of Fornost. The death of Arndui. The kingdom of Arthurdain is conquered by Angmar. Fornost is destroyed and left in ruins. Yeah. Battle of Fornost is a fun one. Ooh, maybe we should do that. What do you guys think? Should we start just a little bit earlier than I was thinking? So that they get to participate in the Battle of Fornost? Or have the Battle of Fornost take place? Or should The campaigns start after the Battle of Fornost. Ooh, if we start after, we could do that, though. Very, very many thoughts on this. I need to think about it. I have thoughts to say before and have thoughts to say after. It's hard to know which would be the best one to go with. Let's see. Shire, yeah, 1601, Shire settled. The fellow Hyde brothers decide to go across the river and settle in their land that becomes Hobbiton, also known as the Shire. And they get the permission of King Arglib II, and are given the land that is known as the Shire. And thus begins the Shire Reckoning, Year 1. Yeah, I like this time frame. I like this time frame. That's a good place to put the campaign. Let's see. Territories is lost to Kingdom Battle of Plains. Northmen are enslaved. Slaves of Eothed who escaped west. Yeah. Yeah. Really enslaved by... Is that the orcs that enslaves him, or is he saying that someone else enslaves him? Battle of Fornost. Such a great picture of it. The King of Gondor. The Witch King of Angmar. And who is that man? Who is that man? One who could actually defeat the Witch King. Who indeed? That's who. One of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth. Glorfendell the Reborn. I mean, I gotta give him that last name, but it's true. He was a lord of the House of the Golden Flower of Gondolin. He was a valiant warrior who slew many Balrogs in the defense of those fleeing the destruction of Gondolin. Oh. He died in the First Age? Then what happened? Oh, right. He was re-embodied by the Valar to act as their emissary and sent back to Middle-earth. Again. Yet not many are given a second life. So, yeah. In First Age 510, when Gondolin falls, he dies, and then he's re-embodied in the Second Age 1600. And of course, it's kind of immortal at that point. But that's just so cool. Yeah. Is of the Noldor, Guladrin, and then of course he joins the Elves of Rivendell, just to act as a emissary of the Valar. I mean, that's so cool. Like, you fight so many Balrogs that they're like, you did so good, we're gonna make you get to go back and do it again, because you just did so awesome. I mean, that's impressive. That is impressive. So, I really love the story of Glorfendell. It's, you know, not the most fleshed out and crazy or anything, but I definitely like it. So yeah, Glorfendell and his people cut their way out, but were pursued by orcs. Glorfindel joined her in defending the square until others arrived. During the fight, Gothmog was Islith was slain during the fight against Gothmog. Gothmog was defeated by I believe he was defeated by Glorfindel. Yeah, the Bellerogue. He, feared by elves across the land, birth, creation of Arda, was morphed and turned into one by him. High Captain of Angbad, Lord of Bellerogues, Death, Immortal. But he technically was defeated by him. But yeah. Yeah, Gothmog defeated Feanor. And then he attacks Gondolin. And Ethelith charges Gothmog as they fight to the death. I mean, that's crazy. And I believe either he died in the fight against Ethelin or he was killed by the other. So Dreadfuls. Yeah, Gothmog was briefly committed son of Melkor and was named. But yeah, he went bye-bye. And Glorfendell was, yeah. But he got to do that for quite a while. So his body was later borne up by Thondor, Lord of Eagles, who flew down into the abyss to rescue Glorfindell's broken body and return it to his people who buried him on the high cliffs of the mountains. Because he was that crazy. That's just crazy. And then, of course, his body departs the halls of Mandos. Midas. Alright, so yeah, and then Menwë, Lord of the Valar, sends him back in the Second Age, 1600, as an emissary. Granted powers almost as strong as that as the Maiar. Yeah. That's just so fun. And the whole prophecy that the Witch King of Angmar would not perish by mortal man was actually stated by him. Yeah, that was Glorfindell's prophecy, if you want to call it that. It's like, do not pursue him, you will fail. Because he knew. It wasn't so much that, except knowing that the standard gear wouldn't do it, and it would need to be weakened by a very special blade. so awesome. The movie has Arwen showing up to save Frodo. It wasn't Arwen. It was Glorfendell. Which is why when Frodo saw him, he saw him as a bright, shining being that he couldn't even really look at. Just gleaming. Because he was starting to be able to see into the Shadow Realm. And if you look into the Shadow Realm, you would see Gandalf and Glorfindel and others like that being shining beacons. But yeah, Glorfindel is awesome. Yeah, he tended Frodo's wounds. Halo follow turn. Okay, yep. Just refreshing my memory on him some. But yeah, Glorfindel is a good one. Here's a nice little map for us. So, of course, you guys probably know about Lorien. You have the Misty Mountains. Up here was actually a bunch of dwarven strongholds at one point, and the dragons moved in and made the dwarves go back to Erebor. You have the Long Lake, goes out to the Sea of Run. Out here is actually other dwarven places that were never mentioned in Lord of the Rings. It was in Silmarillion and stuff that they were mentioned. You have the Dead Marshes here, where a bunch of the Wind Riders died. And then, of course, you have Gondor down here. The men who become known as the Rohirrim traveled this area and later set up shop down here when they were given land by Gondor. So, Rivendell Shire over here. Yeah, pretty cool though. Trying to find. They mentioned some of them were enslaved. I know it's the Wildlands is this, but they said that they're enslaved. I'm guessing by servants of the Shadow, but to what degree and what thing is what I was trying to figure out. I want to make sure I remember, because that could come into play. Yeah, and to live the Stour Hobbits. Yeah, Easterlings, even beyond the Sea of Run, that far over yet. Esled fled to Rovarian. He claimed kingship of the Northmen. Sylvan Elves are in the north. The Great Plague, the Wind Riders. The many men of Rovarian left Gondor, where they welcomed his distant relatives. Okay, so yeah, the Wind Riders were from the west. The Riverine, okay. Yeah, the Wind Riders took them as prisoners, that's what I thought. That was who was enslaving them. But then, when they're defeated, they're freed, some of them. Yep. Oh, wait. Grey Mountains. I thought the Grey Mountains were on the other side. Well, north. Oh, no, okay. These are the Grey Mountains. I was thinking the Blue Mountains, not the Grey Mountains, you know, because you got the blue and the gray and the misty. So this is the mountains of Angmar. These are the Grey Mountains. This is the Misty Mountains. The Blue Mountains are over here. The Iron Hills are over here. It's just, you know, getting wires crossed with so many different colored mountains and styled mountains. Yeah, see? Misty Mountains and Grey Mountains and Blue Mountains and silly. Cool. There's a lamp, little water. Yep. Where is... the universe itself, right? The first 15 of the Ionar, who descended into Arda, were the most powerful ones and were called the Valar. The lesser Ionar spirits were called the Maiar. Yep. Lamps marked by Malcor. Yep. He destroyed the lamps, sundered the land, caused all sorts of problems because that's Malcor. Malcor, the wrecker of things. I don't like your stuff. I'm gonna throw a tantrum and wreck it. Yeah. You made pretty trees. Now I'm gonna get this giant shadow spider to drain your trees. And then nearly get myself killed. That was actually really funny. He nearly is his own undoing using Ungoliath. Yeah, that was funny. Numenorians are the second age. Not really what we want to do. I really think in the third age is the one for us, like I was showing that timeline. I'm really feeling that age, that time period. I could see doing the other ones later too, don't get me wrong. Could do fourth age, but if we do fourth age, you'd have to basically say elves are off limit. Gimli in the Glittering Caves, yeah. That's a fun little story, but that's fourth age. And that's the thing, the fourth age could be fun to do, but I'm not sure what you do a lot in the fourth age. Because Sauron is defeated, Saruman is no more. Elves have left. The Rise of Man? I mean, could. I think I want to do third age to start with. And get everyone familiar with the setting more before trying out doing more exotic, or not really exotic, derivative timeline. Wait, the glittering caves were built by... Oh, right! Because the glittering caves were behind Helm's Deep. Yes, okay. Yeah, extended within the White Mountains, because, you know, we need more colored mountains. But yeah, it was Helm's Deep, and when Gimli was there helping defend it, he saw it, and right, and then later it came back and set up. Okay, yep, I remember now. Rohirric. Legolas joins him there, glittering caves are there, and yeah, okay. Small stream run down through the White Mountains, which you're actually seen in the movies there. It's a large mountain range located, yeah. So it is a pretty big range. But just like Moria or Khazad-dûm is here and can stretch underneath all those mountains. Well, the White Mountains glittering caves is that. And so, yeah, a lot of good stuff there. And Path of the Dead is in that mountains. The Gap of Rohan, of course, is between the Misty Mountains and the White Mountains. And you have Gondor there. And then, of course, you have the glittering caves and stuff. And yeah, good stuff. Cool. Just reminding myself, like I said, of all the stuff. But yeah, that was fun stuff. Timeline of Arda. What do you have for us? Oh yeah, it was like this, and then we changed to this, and then we shaped like this, and then we switched like this eventually. Yeah, it's interesting. That's the kind of the funny thing. I kind of want to do that. Yeah. I think I have an idea. So I do think we're going to start about that timeline when I was thinking right around... Destruction of Arnor. I thought this one had... Destruction of Kingdom of Arnor. Yeah. Okay, so the Battle of Fornost should be here. They don't show it here, but they show it on this one, right? So, no. There were... Oh, this is 18 now in 1970. Derp. Yeah, so they show that here. So they do agree. They just don't show everything. So you kind of need both of them to get the full look at the picture. Yeah, so look at that. It takes them 19 years? Is that it? Yeah, 19 years to set up. Yep. Yep. Cool. Yeah, I think that'll be when we start. We'll start after this, I think. So, probably the summer of 75. Maybe 76. Debating which one would be more fitting. I don't want your crazy commercials. Thank you. Yeah. I think that'll do. That'll fit. And we'll be able to do that part. Yeah. Right. We're going it. It might make sense for us. We're going to have it. Let me check one thing here. Human. Passes. Let's see, we have that one warrior. Scholar was, I don't remember, and then he was debating. So that one was the warden, human, merchant, right? And then there's right. Okay. I'm just looking at the party's list of what they're saying they want to be and lining it up. Cool. So we'll be good on that. So we are getting very good. I do like the map, and it is going to work well for what we have. I do like that we can use the more generic ones more for things, and we can go like that, and you can see we can move around, and you see that it's a little bit small for the side of the bush. So this one you need to actually go up back here and go like this and go. The grid needs to be grid size 120 maybe. No, it needs to be bigger than that. So maybe I want you to be about that size. You need to be maybe a little bigger. But I want you to, not be able to have 4 people across bridge. I was thinking 2 people cross bridge. So bridge need to go a little bit more maybe. What's that, 5? Yeah, that's about right. You can have about 2 people on the bridge. A little bit bigger than that. Not by much. 20 feet down. Roll damage. Let's see. We fell that far. Go ahead and we're going to do a public roll. We're going to... Oh, you don't have the roll option. So what is it? Nope, I did it wrong. I can't remember. Whatever. I know I could figure it out if we needed to, but it's not that important right now. Yeah, that'll work. It does definitely fit this map. It's about the right size now. And so if we look, we can have them come in on the path here. Like have them start here. And they can basically go up an adventure. What do we find? Oh, there's a bridge. I don't see anything. Oh no, the orcs are climbing up and they're going to eat our faces. Yay! Right. Just to show you what we have here, this is a home game character that has a different mission, or different campaign. Won't apply to us all, but it doesn't matter. It was to get tests in place. But yeah, you'll see we have all of the lovely cultures available and all the lovely classes. Very nice and neat. Very pretty. Very tidy. For things must be tidy. We have other gear. We'll be adding more later. I did make these things. These things are just let's say a loot, but it really is just a matter of keeping all the things in a nice handy means on order. Is this one going to change that? I don't know. I don't know if that'll do it. It's 7. Let's go back here and see if it does. So that says rations. So if we go to food, drink, and lodging, no, that's not their equipment. No, I said equipment. I want to go down to rations and see if you change our core. I'm hoping it will only change it there, not here. No, it changes here. Okay, has to be this way then. I just have to know it's 7 of them. So this one, we can say 50 feet of rope. Don't remember the size of the oil flask. We'll just say an oil flask. Water skin is already there. What was it I was going to change? There's something I thought of that we were going to change, but my brain is failing me now. Oh, I know what it was. Ammo. Arrows. So instead of this, we can actually just have it down below, and it shows 20 like that. That is what I wanted to do. We don't need to have that there because it's kept there. And so it's just basically redundant having it in 2 places. Why do we need it in 2 places? We don't. There is the selling bullets. The bullets with the other ammunition that there were. There's the bullets. We don't need to have listed as 20 because it's obvious that it's 20. You can see it right there. The same thing with the other things with quantities like this. We see it's already 10. We don't need to call it 10 when it already has 10. That is something I actually found out the other day when I was offline taking a look at things. Yes, indeed. It's a good thing to know. Could technically do rope feet. $50 feet of hemp rope. You can tell that based on the fact that it's, 50 feet. 1 day's rations, 1 sheet of paper, biscuit, magnifying glass, 10-foot ladder. That is, of course, just one. You can't really have a separate one. It's just to show that it's only 10 feet long. I'm trying to remember if there's any other quantity things. Oh yeah, 10 foot of chain. Quantity 10 foot. Feet of chain. Feet of chain. You got 10 there. If you have the number next to there, I found that if you put it in the inventory, it'll look a bit weird. It's better to have it not there. So let's take a look there and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if we come over here and we talk to the lady. Let's see, inventory. So if we put it here and we scroll down, you will see that it says 20 arrows, 20 arrows. Well, that's kind of confusing, isn't it? So if we open it up, we remove the name 20 arrows, we save it, we'll see it says 20 arrows. 1 day's ration, we've got 7 of them. 50 foot of hemp rope. We go ahead and look at it. We can say 50 foot, and we can say feet of hemp rope. You have 50 feet of hemp rope now, see? It makes a lot more sense that way. And that way, if they use up a few feet of rope, they can always go in and change it. I think it makes a lot more sense that way. Perfect. So yeah, that is why we made that change. I thought it made a lot more sense and helped the players go a little bit better. And if we come over here, we can close that up now. Oh! One thing that's really cool. So, Amy doesn't have the potions and magic and healing, right? So what do they do? You want to allow people to have some option, right? But you want it to fit. So they have this section called potions, herbs, and salves. They really shouldn't call it potions, because it's not really any potions, it's just herbs and salves. But you can have atlas, Athelas allows you to have a salve made from it that immediately regains d4 plus 1 hit points for a mere 30 silver pennies. That's actually quite a lot. That's like 30 gold in comparison to standard 5e. You got water lily, which can do some other things. And the best part is that you can get even more options if you have the right people in your party. I was going to do this so we know the conversion rate here, so people are aware when they're looking at it that they can see it's either 3 gold, or it's actually, since we're tracking more silver than gold, let's go ahead and put the right thing in there. There we go. Just a nice little nifty reminder. White is 20, red is 60 silver. Yes, so white is technically 1 gold, where the other is more. So we have that. That's pretty cool. Now, the thing I wanted to show you was if you have the right person in your party, you can actually have the aspect to do even better by having a scholar. Now, scholars have the same herbs, Athelas. So when they get Athelas, though, they know you can do another thing with it. Instead of having d4, well, they know if you turn it into a powder, then boil it, you can use it to produce a cloud of vapors that removes the level of exhaustion from creatures. So, remove the level of exhaustion, or heal d4 plus 1 hit points. I really like that they have the same thing do something different when someone knows how to use it differently. I think that's really cool. So, just thought I'd share that with you guys. It's something fun. But yeah, I have everything nicely labeled out. They won't need to come into here except for the virtues. Actually, no, they don't need to come into features at all, right? Features is the folder that players, you guys aren't going to have to worry about at all. If you need access to it, it'll show you in the system that you'll get it. Which virtue? There's one that has it. Trying to think. But I can't recall which one has it. Virtues. Right. So if we go to Riders of Rohan and we go to Kingsguard, you see you have different options, right? Based on how much you've refined it. And so we have the link to them. Because they're actually subcomponents of the other. So yeah, I did that. So nice, neat and tidy. Like everything nice and tidy so you don't have to worry about it. Makes it a lot simpler to find what we need. I need to go through trade goods and other features and items. I left the items there just in case. I need to put the information on these, but I haven't been able to do the description, but the actual mechanical details are there. So, pretty close to being ready to go, which is good. But yeah, I do like these maps. I think they're going to fit our needs pretty well. I think these generic ones are probably going to be our bread and butter more, though, based on the fact that it's not more one static set thing. I do want to find some, what do you call it, scenery that we can put out. But I do like these generic ones now that we know the generic ones are kind of our bread and butter more. We'll know where to look when we're, doing it. So if we go back to forest and we go to generic forest, these will be the primary ones we're talking about. I didn't actually look at these, and I should have. Nice and generic Roadrunner. See, we can use this one. Very nice and easy. We're going through a Mirkwood forest. It's just a forest. Throw down some scenery, maybe throw down some cobwebs, and bam, done. This one I still am like, don't know how much we can use that one, but a lot of the others we can. And so, like this one, perfect. So I'm really thinking that these generic ones are going to be our key to most of our gameplay, because it's going to be traveling or going to scenery and stuff. And then at the actual mission locations is where the other things will come into play. And even then, the generic one still might be. Because this one, yeah, they call it a ghoul's den, but what if it's a wolf's den or a bear's den or, something like that? So I really think that these generic ones are going to be our main key. So I was really glad we found those. But I really like them. Like that they look good. I was worried that it wasn't going to be worth what we paid for it. Well, what I paid for it. When we first started looking based on the cities, I was like, ooh, I don't know about that, because the cities weren't our style, right? But now that we see these generic ones and some of the other ones, yeah, that's more what we're going for. Like this would be the road entrance across the river where Bjorn later on sets up, right? Well, that's perfect. The River Anduin and the river, the ford there. It's good. It's good. I like it. I do. So, still think this one's kind of funny. But yeah, it'll be good. If we look at the other ones, we have the jungle. Generic jungle we'll of course look at, because it's generic. Very pretty. Definitely usable for our tasks that we'll have at hand. The abandoned elf road. Perfect. Right. A river. Very doable. And the nice thing about this one that I just was thinking, what if we go like that? It's different, but it still works. You see what I mean? And since they're generic, it works a lot better to be able to do stuff like that. I like. That's definitely going to be what we do. Like this. I like this, because you got that elevation issues. Where, people hiding up above, jumping down. You get the log. You can have advantage for those below, but you can also have an issue of getting knocked off. You fall and take let's say this is 10 foot, so you take 2d10 damage because you fell 20 feet, right? Bam! So you have the advantage, but you have the disadvantage and stuff to it. I like that. I really do. So I'm really looking forward to using these for that. Probably not. So that one's really good. Graveyards and tombs. Don't know that we'll be doing that. Mountains. Yes, we will be doing mountains, because we do know there's mountains. Wow. Talk about a climb up, right? Make it where they have to have a deck save every round that they're out on the mountain because of the stone giants fight, and they have to get to the cave, right? And then when they get to the cave, you have the entrance, and they get in, and there's bones, and it opens up, and oh no! You fell asleep on their front door! No, we wouldn't have to do that. But it could be fun to do that once in a while. I wouldn't do it every time, but I like this idea, because then you could have it where they find this, right? And then they decide to set it up into the other. Except they don't quite match. And that's the thing, like I see this one set up, I might not use it. I might just use this one, and then grab some scenery to throw on there. But that's, like, I like those. That'll work really well for what we need. And I mean, they look nice. So we'll be doing that. And then for the figures, we do need to have the people make the things. Bandit Camp 2. What? Huh? Say what? That's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. I just am not so sure. Interesting. Other cities and towns. The city and town map, yeah, I wasn't too... I want to use our own. Interesting. But I see a lot of these could be useful for other things. Other games, if we do them. But yeah, I am really looking forward to this. I hope you guys are. And we'll see what kind of crazy fun we can do. Ooh, I was about to call it done, but you need to check this. Because, you know, you got to go to the swamps. You don't know what you'll find in the swamps. Cool. Good, good, good. Yes. And of course, you know, you gotta make them have fun at some point. You're freezing your backsides off. Oh, no way. The Watcher in the Deep. That's perfect. Oh, that's gonna be so much fun. Alright. Oh man, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm looking forward to it. We will be using probably something like Hero Forge or something else to make the mini to fit and be able to run around the map, but also have an image we can use to show everyone, you know, how awesome they look. If you like the music and there's like one you're like, that really should fit, or make sure you have that one, or take that one out, let me know. I don't mind. I'm trying to tailor the playlist to the setting. But hey, thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Oop, did not mean to do that. I meant to minimize it. Thank you for being here. Until next time, and as always, enjoy the story. We'll see you all next time. Gonna drop a host on a good guy here, so you can all continue your entertainment. We'll see you all.